Hello and welcome again. I was recently in a presentation of company leaders where I asked the question, raise your hand if you and your staff have had WMIS training. Now raise your hand if you and your staff have had first aid training. Excellent. Now, as you can imagine, all but a couple raised their hands. And then I went on, and finally, raise your hand if you and your staff have had mental health training. Now, as you can probably imagine, all the hands went down very quickly. Interesting, isn't it, that almost every employee in a company has training in which the preventative measure is unlikely to happen. Think of the last time you had a chemical spill or hazard emergency, or think of the last time you had an incident where an ambulance called. Now, think of the last time you dealt with conflict, depression, anxiety, fear, absenteeism, presenteeism, or lack of productivity and motivation in the workplace. Of course, every day, and yet no training. Because as you will see today, these types of challenges in the workplace are all related to mental health and mental illness. And there still is a stigma and silence that goes with it. In 30 minutes, you will hear why mental health in the workplace is a need. You will see how mental health in the workplace training, consulting, and programming can make a difference, a significant difference. And you will pick up a couple of tools developed and delivered by SOS so that you can see the fit between your company and stressed out solutions. Yes, mental health affects everyone. So you might ask, well, I'm okay. I don't need training. What's that all about? Well, let's look at that. Sometimes it's not you. It could be your coworker, your friend, a family member, or your management team. And when one person is dealing directly with mental health challenges, it is almost always a given that the team, the family, and the community are affected. Let's look at this example. If your child is anxious about school, but as a parent who understands the importance of school, you give your child a hug and you send them on their way. Now, what about you? Do you not feel anxious? And as you work the day away, do you regularly check your phone, check in with your partner, or worry that you might get that call from the school? This is how mental health is affecting you. The same can be said about the support you provide an aging parent. Mental health affects everyone, directly and indirectly. And the ripple effect is that when one feels the pain of mental health symptoms, the individuals around that person also experience the pain. Mental health affects 1 in 5 individuals in Canada. So think of your particular workplace. How many staff do you have? Even the smallest company of 30 would have 6 individuals directly affected by mental health, and those are the ones that we know about. What about the others? The ones that are silent. In a company of 100, you are looking at 20 individual staff and leadership with direct mental health challenges. Again, those are the ones that we know about. Mental health is not going away, and mental illness is actually on the increase. Why? Because of stress, demands, deadlines, competition, cell phones, politics, financial, work cultural realities, and family. There is an endless number of areas of life that lead to stress, which lead to sickness, to sadness, and suffering. This cannot be ignored, and really, can businesses afford not to pay attention? So you may be thinking, so everyone has stress. It's just that, stress. Well, the reality of stress in the workplace is that the symptoms that are related to stress, and you can probably relate, symptoms like not sleeping, not eating, sleeping too much, eating too much, argumentative, unmotivated, or just unhappy. These same symptoms are then showing up at work like this: tardiness, conflict, low productivity, lack of interest, and the list goes on. And with this, business is not happening. and errors are being made, and the drive that a staff first brought on the first day of working at your company has gone, vanished. And once it's gone, without proper training and support, it is very difficult to get back. Why don't companies look at promoting mental health, preventing mental illness, and caring enough to provide the accommodation and support one needs to recover? Actually, I'm going to hold off on that question and come back to it later. First, let's look at the opportunities, the program, and the success to building a customized SOS program right on site with your staff, leadership, and customers. SOS programming starts with you. SOS is customized, so within this year-long program, we will facilitate the first component, which we call the needs assessment. This is crucial in assuring that SOS covers the needs of your particular company or organization. There is no point in providing services and training you've already had. There is no point in servicing a program that is not tailored to your industry and your people. Hence, the needs assessment. Within this year-long program, you will then receive a series of training for leadership, followed up by employee training. And also included in this year will be a number of consulting hours one-to-one, depending on the number of employees in your company. This is the SOS year-long model, which we have witnessed as a successful and sustainable way to introduce mental health, support mental health, and create a vibe of interest and motivation in order to build stronger and healthier teams. You also might be the company that sees the benefit of some of the option items available, such as the SOS chat, the on-site visual presence, the need for a mental health committee, and for some companies, a team coaching program. These items are available and have been proven to add success and sustainability of a company that wants to add growth for the future of workplace mental health. Some companies may choose to start with a year-long program and then add some of the option items in the years following. Other companies will request the entire program with all the options spread over the course of 3 years. And then other companies will choose one option to include in the first year of programming, which specifically addresses their present needs and challenges. So what are the specifics of the SOS program? Within the needs assessment, SOS will work directly and closely with the HR and executive team. One of the key elements within this assessment is to bring everyone onto the same page and understanding. One of the key learnings we have had from staff in several other companies is that they want the support and buy-in from all levels of the company, and this starts with the top. This assessment gives an opportunity for the leaders to buy in and embrace the SOS program and the benefits of workplace mental health. After a complete checklist and customized assessment, your company will receive a completed strategic plan, a written review, a report indicating recommendations for sustainable, successful mental health presence. You will show that you are a company that cares. Leadership training is essential and a must for all organizations. It is always fascinating to me that we easily bring in leadership training regarding sales, team building, and customer service. Even a leader I respect, Dale Carnegie's first page of content in one of his books focuses on topics such as connecting with the business strategy, initiatives, and goals of the business or organization. Having a clear plan to lead and manage around what is required in their role to advance the business. Acquiring a taste for reality. Leaders see what's actually going on and confront and coach from reality. Having the skills and behaviors to get things done through others. And accepting that they can't do everything themselves. Now I know incredible leadership resources are key and vital to the running of a business. But let's take a step back. Without leaders and staff that are resilient, able to express emotion appropriately, that are happy, accepting, and living a balanced life, without understanding the world of depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress, OCD, addictions, just to name a few, how will any leader support their staff dealing with these challenges every day? All the customer service training in the world won't make a difference without getting to the bottom, to the foundation of who a person is. I often say when we look at workmen's compensation numbers, it is so easy to put all the safety processes in place, but without addressing what's on the mind of the individual, all the safety processes in place will be a waste of time. If a young employee who is doing roofing for your company has a fight with his wife the night before and doesn't speak to her that morning, is it really the slip of the foot that is the issue? Not usually. It's actually what's on the mind of the person at the time they slip. So let's get to the root of mental health by educating leaders on the care process. The C is how to communicate about mental health. What questions do leaders need to ask? How do they ask? When should they ask? And how do we protect individuals with confidentiality and privacy? The A is for accommodation. How do you accommodate individuals that are having a difficult time? Sometimes we can prevent a stress leave or medical leave by being proactive and preventative. The R is for recognizing. How do you know when someone is having a difficult time when you do not recognize the symptoms of mental health? So often we hear, oh, he's just lazy. Oh yeah, she's always crying. The E is for education. How do you educate the company and the team that you do care, that you are a company learning about this, and that you are not different than other companies? How do you lead by example and come from a place of support, striving to recognize the best in others and yourself? The results to a care process, strengthened relationships, and a people purpose leadership. This is not the time for PowerPoint. This is the time for conversations, and even when difficult ones need to be presented. Speaking out, sharing, and supporting are the foundation of SOS training. Once a leader shared with me, I thought I was coming to learn about my staff, when really you were speaking to me. Now I understand why I feel irritated, and sometimes I try to find any excuse not to come to work. I can use these tools to feel better and be a better leader. This leader, he came to the employee training to hear the message for a second time. This leader reports feeling better and enjoying his role of leadership now more than ever because it's based on relationships he has with his team. Employee training has 3 components. The first is to dispel myths in order to stop silence, stigma, and yes, sometimes even suicide. Number 2 is about self-care. How does one take care of themselves so they can be their best when they go to work? And the third component is taking care of others. How do you support a coworker having a difficult time? This training is engaging and interactive in order to support a trusting opportunity to share, learn, and grow as individuals and part of the team. Yes, if staff take care of themselves, they are more likely to stay at work, work to their potential, and strive to better themselves and their workplace. Consulting is just that, an opportunity to pick up tools, processes, and systems to help particular teams. The most sought-out piece of consulting is around building resources and solutions to particular challenges. Consulting is provided by mental health specialists that you will get to know as they train and support the mental health initiative in your company. So what are the options for value-added service for you and your staff and your customers? As a facilitator to your mental health committee, you may see the benefits of building a team of champions in your company that will help build and create ways for mental health to remain a key component of the wellness and health of your business. An SOS chat option is great for information, resources, guidance, and support. This is not a counseling or crisis number. This is an information resource for your staff to access through your internal website for added value, service, and support to your staff. There's a poster and on-site visual campaign. I spoke at a company last year to their women's network. On the door was a sign that read, "Mental Health Training in Progress." After that training, and after I left, a young male staff approached one of the women and asked, "Did you attend the training today?" And she replied, yes, I learned a lot. Well, he went on to ask, did you learn about suicide? She mentioned a couple of points she had picked up from the training. It turned out that that individual was concerned about his girlfriend, who had not gotten out of bed for the past few days, and he was concerned because she was so depressed. Help was on its way, and this young family was supported. A sign on the door, that's all it took. Visual awareness is a key part of the conversation in taking action on workplace mental health. And finally, team coaching. Sometimes the team may have unique circumstances. Like, how do you check in with a coworker who's always on the road? Or how do you take care of yourself when you're tied to a phone that keeps ringing? Or how do you breathe when customers continue to fill the lines, feeling like there's no end in sight? In some situations, SOS is called on to provide team coaching to assist the team moving forward on the mental health programming. The options are endless. Your SOS specialist will help you determine the best fit for your company. So why don't some companies understand the importance of this topic? I hear it all. I hear every excuse in the book as to why you wouldn't bring a mental health program to your company. Well, let's put the elephant on the table. Let's bring the challenges to the forefront. I hear we already have an EAP program. Well, that's great. And SOS supports and encourages their audience to access and use the EAP counseling service. But the fact remains that it is often underutilized because people do not know they're moving on a treadmill and eventually will fall off. A set training with little customization is not always the answer to open conversations. And with SOS, you will know and build a relationship with your mental health specialist, your trainer and consultant. I hear we have had training in the past. Incredible. SOS is not there to duplicate. But as you know, there are many different types of learners, and different ways of training will offer repeatable, memorable messages in an action and result-driven way. How did the training meet your needs? Where are the gaps? Or is that training just another book on the shelf? I hear we can't afford it. Can you afford not to talk mental health? What does it cost to have one more employee go off on stress leave or short-term disability? I hear we're not ready. Our staff is not ready, and our leadership is definitely not ready. When will they be? Mental health is not new. It's not going anywhere. And the longer companies wait, the more desperate and depressed people are getting. Stop the silence. Stop the silence and be a company that cares. I hear it does not affect us. Remember back? Mental health affects everyone. And I hear the timing is not right. In the past few years, I have heard we are downsizing. The time is not right. We are going through so many changes. The time is not right. We have just had a serious situation. We are overwhelmed. We are building new directions. We are overworked. The time is now. This is the exact time for mental health. So what's in it for you, for your company? Save time. Save energy and money. With SOS programming, you will walk away with reduced absenteeism, lower mental health-related drug costs, significant productivity boosts, a stronger, more driven workforce, and individuals that are there to build, create, and innovate for your company. What do others say? With the 20-plus years I have worked in mental health, with the thousands of individuals I have connected with, the story is similar. I had hopes and dreams. I had a job. I went to school. I loved my family. Things were good. I was okay, and I saw an incredible future. Now look at me. I'm homeless, addicted to prescription medication, jobless. I have lost me in this stress, this thing they call depression and anxiety. If only someone spoke out, shared, or cared. If only I knew it was okay to speak out, share my challenges, and know that I was not alone. Stop the silence. Speak out. Strengthen your people with understanding, knowledge, and support. And with that, I will ask you that you reach out to SOS and ask questions. Get the conversation started. SOS will walk you through the steps. Step 1, email SOS at info@stressedoutsolutions.com. Step 2, go to the website and sign up for your newsletter. Read the blogs, engage in conversation. And step 3, share this webinar with your friends, family, coworkers, fellow leaders. Together we can stop silence, stigma, and even suicide. Thank you. I look forward to getting to know you and your company. Please feel free to stay on the line if you have other questions, and I think with that I'll pass it back to Garth.
Good. Thanks so much, Sarah. It's again, every time I hear some more information, I learn and hear a little bit more, something different than I did before. So if there are any questions, please do type them in the chat box or the question box there. There was a couple during the webinar. One of them, Sarah, was about industries or different sectors or sizes. Is there, specific sizes that training works with better, or how do you approach? The one was about factories or manufacturing versus office settings. Are they approached the same way?
So the information is the same. So the message is going to be the same, but the way we deliver it, and that's one thing that sets SOS out, is that we will deliver it to meet the needs of those individuals. I can give you an example. An example of that is when you provide training in a boardroom. Well, if you've got guys that are working out in the construction site on a regular basis, to come and sit in 3 hour worth of training in a boardroom may not be their energy, their mindset, their motivation. So, I've been out there with coffee and my jeans and t-shirt and having conversations about mental health. So there's lots of different ways to do it. Shift workers, we work around different schedules, which is really important, but also to see people and be with people while they're working, which is key.
Okay, good. Thanks, Dawn, for that question, by the way. Another question that came in is around timing, because everyone's always obviously concerned about budgeting. I think this is where this question is coming from. Is there, do you have to fit training into a month period, or can it be spread out over a period of time, or what do you find works best?
So because we have consultants that are trained throughout, you would work on that through the needs assessment to say, okay, what is best for our company? And so for some companies, they say, I'd like to spread this out over 3 years, keep something consistent, maybe one of the pieces every month, just so that SOS is a part of the culture that changes. And other people say, you know what, this is our need for this upcoming year, and it's important we budget for that. Let's get as much as we can to help move the mental health initiative forward in a year's time. Okay,
good. The other question I have here is around the assessment portion. Is it done like through a, I'm trying to paraphrase what they're saying here. Is it done through interviews, or is it done on site, or is it simply here's a form, fill it out?
Our program, SOS, is all about the on-site presence. And I'll give you a quick example of why that is. When I first started working with a company and I used to be on site and they knew me as that mental health lady, people may not have approached me. Where now I go sit in the lunchroom with everybody else and people come up to me and ask questions about their mother or sister or their daughter, and I'm just part of the culture now. So saying that, the needs assessment is all about the on-site presence, having a walkthrough, having interviews with top leadership. And if that means a 15-minute interview because that's all they've got time for, we'll make it happen. And then there's pieces where we will just observe or review things like exit interviews. So there's a combination, and we will meet it and customize it to your organization or company.
Good, thanks. And thanks, Jan, for that one. Another question was around you mentioning custom training. Is there also, for lack of a better term, boxed or standard presentations that you do offer?
There is, but I'll always customize it to meet the needs. So the message may be a boxed message. The way we deliver it is going to be unique to your particular company. And saying that, that would be always our preference, because there's no point in sharing a message and for your staff not to walk away feeling like they got value out of that. So yes, I do keynotes. SOS does keynotes and workshops that are more, an overview of what is care, or how do you take care of yourself, those kinds of presentations. I think they're best in a keynote situation. If we're coming on site to you, we'll definitely try to customize some of that.
Okay, great. That's all the questions that have come in here. Did you have anything else that you just thought of from some of those questions, or is the information what you mentioned good for now?
Well, I'll leave it maybe with this last thought. I just spoke to a company yesterday, and it was interesting because that company's response was they just had the harassment training, which I know a lot of people have had over the past year, couple of years. And I said, have you done anything with that? Have you had any conversations in your team or with your organization or with your employees? What have you done with that training? And for the most part, they said really nothing. Well, that's the whole piece. You can get mental health training out there from anybody, anywhere, online, whatever. Stressed Out Solutions is all about helping you filter all of that training, all of those resources that are out there, and bringing them to life on site in your company.
Okay, good. There's a couple others that have just popped up. Do you have any data regarding cost, or I'll expand it a little bit here because I'm not sure if you have cost stuff, but of what happens with ignoring the issue?
Absolutely. So if you look and I'm not going to talk specifics, but if you look at your own data within your company, how much has stress leaves cost your company? How much has short or long-term disability based on depression, anxiety, or a physical illness tied to a mental health challenge? How much has the drug cost on mental health or mental illness medications? Those are the kinds of things you can look at. And then when you speak to us, I'm sure you'll see that, a year-long program is going to cost you a lot less than a lot of those other things. Good.
I think our crowd's waking up a little here. Sorry, just give me 1 second to read this one. I have a question. We have monthly stress. Okay, I'll just read it the way it is because it's a little bit lengthy. We have monthly stress relief discussion with all team members, and on top of that, we also encourage 10-minute yoga sessions, which most members participate. What additional information would be shown in this training, presentation, sessions for a team?
Excellent. So wellness is all great, fantastic, and that's why SOS and Employee Wellness Solutions Network have partnered, because we see the connection between the two. SOS is about that mental health piece. So think about your yoga class. The ones that aren't going to your yoga class, there may be a mindset or a mental health challenge that prevents them from taking that next step to take care of themselves. We look at the foundation of what is going on in your mental health. So your capacity to resilience to, when something goes wrong, or how do you take care of yourself? It's hard to go to your yoga class when you know your child's homesick. So we work with more the psyche or the mental health piece of it, which will then drive them to hopefully take more yoga classes and take care of themselves, go for a walk at lunch, talk about stress. We take it to a new level.
Excellent. Things have calmed down a little bit here. So on that note, what I'll do is, if you do please have any additional questions, again, I just want to remind people about the save the date here for December 8th and the 10th that's on the screen right now.